Greetings to everyone and welcome to MMJC Updates. In today's session, we are diving into the latest insights regarding the amendments to Regulation 23 of LODR. The Fifth Amendment regulation was notified on 18th November and will become effective 30 days from that date of notification. Let's break down 6 key changes you need to know. First Amendment, scale-based materiality threshold under Regulation 23, Sub-Regulation 1. Earlier, a related party transaction was considered material if it crossed 1,000 crore or 10% of consolidated turnover, whichever was lower. The amended regulation replaces this with a scale-based model under the new Schedule 12. Now, the threshold changes based on turnover. Up to 20,000 crore, 10% of annual consolidated turnover of the listed entity. Between 20,000 and 40,000 crore, rupees 2,000 crore plus 5% of annual consolidated turnover of the listed entity. Above 40,000 crore, 3,000 crore plus 2.5% of turnover above 40,000 crore or 5,000 crore, whichever is lower. Why SEBI changed it? The earlier system was a classic one-size-fits-all framework. For a company with 1 lakh crore turnover, 1,000 crore may be trivial, yet it triggered shareholder approval. SEBI noted that the old system created unnecessary bottlenecks. This new model is expected to reduce the number of material liabilities requiring shareholder approval by approximately 60%, significantly facilitating ease of business. Moving on to Regulation 23, Sub-Regulation 2 regarding subsidiaries. Earlier, a subsidiary transaction required audit committee approval only if it exceeded 10% of subsidiary standalone turnover. This created mismatches where a transaction was material under parent level thresholds but did not need audit committee oversight because the subsidiary's turnover was large. Under the amended regulation, any RPT above 1 crore shall require prior approval of the audit committee if the value exceeds lower of 10% of subsidiary's turnover, standalone turnover, or the material RPT threshold of the listed entity as per Schedule 12. The rationale is simple: to harmonize oversight. Moving on to next. In order to specify a clear way to apply thresholds to newly incorporated or recently acquired subsidiaries that do not have a financial track record for at least a year, the amendment provides a special rule. For such subsidiaries, threshold becomes the lower of 10% of aggregated value of standalone paid-up share capital and security premium account of the subsidiary, or the material RPT threshold of the listed entity as per Schedule 12. This will ensure that significant transactions at the subsidiary level, especially newly formed subsidiaries, are also placed before the audit committee of the listed entity. Next, previously, shareholder omnibus approvals weren't formally codified in the regulation. They only existed in SEBI's master circulars. The amendment brings clarity directly into the regulation. Here are the validity periods. Approvals granted in AGM remain valid until the next AGM, up to 15 months. Approval granted in any other general meetings remain valid for 1 year. Next, there was an ambiguity on whether exemptions for transaction between a holding company and its wholly owned subsidiary applied to any holding company or only a listed holding company. The new explanation now clarifies that it always applied to listed holding companies only. The rationale is to prevent misuse of this exemption by unlisted parent companies which never intended to fall within its carve-out. Earlier, a retail purchases by directors or employees were exempt from RPT classification, provided they were only on uniform terms. The amendment revises this. The exemption now applies to directors, KMP, and their relatives. Employees are removed from this clause because, as per LODR, employees are not related parties, so they never needed a special exemption in the first place. The rationale is definitional accuracy and consistency with Section 2, subsection 76 of the Companies Act. Thank you.